Hi everyone, I'm Anna. I'm the founder of Kindred. Thank you for joining us for our next episode of Kindred Conversations, where I take a deep dive with founders and entrepreneurs who are motivated to build businesses with purpose. So today we're going to be talking to Samantha Clarke, who is a happiness consultant and the founder of Love It or Leave It, a mission to help individuals find true happiness in their work. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So Samantha, we're at a time now where we're being forced to look at many aspects of the working world, and perhaps for some people, their own relationship with work, their career, what really matters to them. So can you tell me a little bit more about your journey and what inspired you to set up Love It or Leave It?
Yeah, well, I think it's a really fascinating time when we think about work, and a lot of our identity is parceled up in this thing that we deliver, serve, create, innovate around. And I've been on my own journey thinking about work happiness when I was working in advertising, and I just didn't feel like I resonated with selling sugary cereals, and was in an account management position that I don't think best played to my skills. And I kind of went down this journey. I was asking myself questions around, like, how could I be more creative? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing every day? And it took me down a journey to explore fashion and footwear and making something. And I was really inclined to start my own footwear business. And just as we were hitting the last recession, that's when my founders were like, actually, putting money into shoes right now probably isn't the best way forward. And so I kind of looked at my toolkit and thought, okay, so I've had some branding, fashion, I'll go into personal branding for individuals and think about how they could look at their brand around getting a new job. And a friend introduced me to somebody, and he'd just been made redundant. And she said, "You're just great at uplifting and supporting people." And so we had conversations, and a lot of the conversations were around, toxic cultures and wanting to find somewhere new and thinking about the best use of his skills. And I loved this stuff. I loved delving into what makes people tick, the workplace. So I restudied as a coach, really honed in on my tools, and I started coaching people in this kind of weird hybrid of style therapy, work coaching, and then I got a lucky break at a tech company, and they were growing pretty big, and they wanted to scale all remotely online, but they hadn't really nailed down the people element. And I said to them, I think you should really think about a culture or a coaching program to kind of support people. And I became their head of happiness. I pitched them that idea. And I think that's when I gave birth to this whole idea around thinking about happiness and change in the workplace, and that we can work differently if we, one, take a deep dive into how we are, what we want to change about ourselves, what we want to do, how is work shaping that. And Love It or Leave It stems from asking people that question: what will you love or leave behind to create more happiness at work for yourself, whether you're a manager, a leader, or you're the actual individual employee? And I think loving it is about interpreting what areas of your role make you shine, where your strengths are, what other opportunities on the fringes of your current role, or even within your business as a business owner, could you elevate to promote more well-being? And Leave It is obviously deciding, actually, I've had enough in this space. I want to create something new, which is where a lot of people are thinking about being driven by purpose, motivated in a different way, to experiment and come up with new ideas. And so I'm really into that drive of giving people the agency to know that you can do this. It is within your remit, and it just takes a little bit of that deep discovery and reflection.
And your job title, Samantha, is an unusual one. It's the happiness consultant, which is just wonderful. And I wondered if, through your work as a coach, a speaker, and a writer, do you see any common themes that prevent people from actually achieving happiness?
Yeah, I think happiness itself can be quite a big topic, and it can feel very amorphous, like we don't really know what it means. And sometimes are we tying happiness to the end result or the end conclusion, or are we up for the journey of whatever this thing is going to teach us? And I really want people to explore contentment, fulfillment, thinking about joy, and being on purpose and living with intention. And so a lot of what I do around my happiness consulting is, getting them to immerse themselves in their feeling, but I also want to tie that to sustainable actions that can be measurable, and for them to think about what are the core happiness pillars that resonate with them. And so when I think about work happiness, I've got like 6 pillars that I think are really important for people to navigate the whole spectrum of what's working and what isn't in their work portfolio. So like 1 is thinking about your mindset and your well-being. How are you showing up for yourself, for your own self-leadership? And that's really important as a small business owner. You are the core of this thing, this essence that people are buying into. What are your portfolio strands? So what are the different areas in which you work in your life, and what could be tweaked or elevated? What is your purpose umbrella? So much like I'm a happiness consultant, underneath that umbrella, I operate, as you said, like a speaker. I deliver my values through podcasting, coaching, consulting. Money magic is an area where we can sometimes feel unhappy if we aren't being valued for our services and our time. I think people in place is a really interwoven pillar when we understand the relationships that we have in our life, and where are the places and the energies and the spaces that bring us to life. And you should know this as someone who's running like a co-working space. When you create that right environment, magic happens. And I think the last bit is thinking about systems and flow. Like, how do we create that productivity and do the work that is aligned to our strengths?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, many of us right now are trying to pivot our careers and our businesses with everything that's been happening. With more people working remotely than ever before, when thinking about happiness, work satisfaction, does the future terrify you, or are you more optimistic?
I'm optimistic. I feel that we're in this place where the social and physical context of work is changing, and technology has been disrupting work, but also giving us the tools to serve new people in new ways. We're all on Zoom, for better or worse, but we can have a conversation. I'm speaking to somebody in Abu Dhabi later, and I've had a call already this morning with someone in Dubai, China. We've got all of this at our fingertips now that we can use and create opportunities. And we've seen that with the younger generations who are using platforms to be vocal, to share movements, to empower each other to step up. And I think that if we are open to allowing technology to serve us in a way that's useful, we can grow and elevate and do lots of amazing things. And I think, companies now are looking at remote working. There's no excuse to say it can't be done now. And I think there's different ways in which we are humanizing the workforce and allowing us to see all of the individual. It's no longer just, you as director. It's you who is maybe also has 2 small kids that you're also navigating, and all of the pressures around family life and being a wife, a great friend, a sister. And I think that is woven into work so much more now.
Absolutely. You describe Love It or Leave It as a revolution and a mass movement, which is very cool, very exciting. But what are the ways that people can best engage with what you're doing, and where would you like to be this time next year, say?
Oh, great question. So I'll break that down in 2 parts. So I am running a career reinvention boot camp at the moment, which is great for people who are thinking about starting their own thing, or just thinking about hacking their current day job or business. That starts next Monday, and you can find out more about that at loveitleaveit.co/career-reinvention-bootcamp. You can also check out my social platforms at _love it leave it_ and at Samantha _. And I'm on LinkedIn as Samantha Clarke, happiness consultant, and I have a YouTube channel, so you can follow all of that good stuff on my website. For me, the next year, I am super engaged with building out the Love It, Leave It life, which is my membership platform, which is where people will get access to in the moment coaching from myself and other Love It, Leave It partners to help them really, get under the skin of each of the 6 pillars and to get advice in the moment. And I'm also licensing my Love It, Leave It framework into companies as a way for them to embed how they can have richer conversations around well-being and career progression or development of the individual in the workplace in a brand new way that isn't just tied to kind of tired performance related metrics and that kind of stuff, like really getting to the skin of who this person is and how they can bring their best selves to work.
Brilliant. I would love to see you at Kindred when we're back sort of
Yes,
fully open and operating.
Yeah, I would love that so much. Yeah, I think you're local as well, so I'm like, yeah, I need to hop down there.
Ah, fantastic. Well, it won't be long. It won't be long. And I'd love to sort of talk to you more about, what your plans are for later and how we can get involved. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really interesting, and I really wish you all the best during this chapter, but also in the months to come.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.